Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Streaming Junkies. We're the continuity crew. I'm Will.
I'm Prey.
That's when, and before we get started, make sure you subscribe or you'll be the prey. We're gonna talk about Prey, what we thought about the movie, ups, downs, lefts, rights, all that good stuff.
A, B, X, E, X, A, Y,
Up,
A.
up, down, down, left, right,
Yep.
left,
R,
right,
B, left, B, yeah.
Start. Yep. But we're gonna talk about Prey, ups, downs, like I said, and we'll give a rating at the end. Probably we'll see. Maybe
should you watch
should
it?
Watch it all the way, see what happens, and subscribe. Again, don't forget that. Let's talk about Prey. Let's talk about what we thought. What did you think about Prey?
It was one of those movies that you could watch late night and not give a shit about.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, that's what I did.
I just had it on and I was like, okay, yeah, okay.
I played Minecraft and had this playing in the background, so
yeah,
it was a very standard movie.
Yeah, it's good enough. Yeah, it passes the test. I'm not the biggest like Predator fan. For anyone who doesn't know, this is the Predator's prequel, so but I'm not the biggest Predator fan. I've always been more of the Alien fan, so but
I didn't care about any of those movies.
Fair. But I enjoyed it. I like the take that they did on it. I was surprised how well they kind of did, like, oh, they actually made, I don't know, it seemed like, and it's kind of the point that it's like, oh, the Predator kind of sucks.
Yeah.
and he's actually the prey. He's not the predator yet. Forgot they had like a name, a lore name for it, or like what they were advertising the predator as. It was like the alpha predator or something, but not that. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. If you know, tell us down below.
Cocaine Bear is the alpha predator. I don't know if you saw that, if you've seen that before. Yeah, some bear.
Oh yes,
in
no.
Washington had like cocaine and he snorted it and he was the most powerful like mammal in the world.
Hell yeah.
And then died of a heart attack. But
sad. But yeah, I would agree with you in that it's just a easy watch.
Yeah,
just throw it on.
There wasn't like any impressive filmmaking in there. I mean,
it's just very standard, and that's what I expect from a Predator movie. So
it felt very low budget, but at the same time, they made use of the low budgetness nature of it. They really did make good use of the VFX, especially the invisible stuff, and then him like with the claws and shit like that. I thought that was really cool.
Yes, yeah.
But overall, I think the story is very slow.
Yeah,
I think it could use a little bit more
something.
Yeah, a little bit of something. Not the most distracting thing for me in this entire movie was probably the dog. Because like you're just basically watching this dog to see if it's gonna die.
Yeah, pretty much.
At that point, yeah. Like I hate when movies do that when they kill the dog, but at least they kept him alive.
I'm pretty sure I said, yeah, when I watched this, I was like, how's the dog that couldn't die?
Yeah.
And I was surprised.
Yeah, the entirety of the movie, you're distracted by the dog and your use of him. Because, like, apparently this dog is so fucking smart to hand her a fucking, like, throwing axe.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? When did this happen?
Playing fetch. He understood the assignment. I think it's just, like, there's not much else to say besides cut and dry. I do think this is like the second best Predator movie, and I don't know, the first one's still like, it's the original. It's like, it's the best because it's the first one, I guess, and the other ones just kind of suck. And I like the new take on this. I wouldn't have thought we would have gotten something like this.
I don't know.
But it kind of makes sense since like the Predator is like this ever evolving thing, and they go to planets, and this one went and then didn't come back, but they come back later, blah blah blah.
I'll give it credit for not doing too much, because like no one asked for this movie.
Yeah,
like no one literally like was like, oh, I want another Predator movie. But yeah, I think they did work with the budget they had, and they made it at a level that they should have.
I believe this was like a Disney Fox property type deal. This good on you, Disney, I guess, for actually using this property in like an interesting way instead of just what the last one. No, the last one, I think it was the Predator, it might have been called. All they did is like, oh, big Predator now, and he going after little Predator. And it's like, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's just so I like the use of it. It's a good way to use like an old property like this and give some of the newer ones kind of more meaning or backstory and make it interesting. So good job.
They did what they did. This isn't a movie that I would say like you should go watch it. This is a movie
Yeah.
that I'd say like if you have nothing else to watch, might as well.
Might as well. I mean, if
Um,
you like the Predator movies, I would highly recommend it.
Yeah.
It's cool.
it was
Get the lore.
surprising. It was very surprising that it wasn't as worse or it wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
I would agree.
Like they them, you know, we thought when he told me, I was like, yeah, this movie is gonna be really horrendous, but it was way worse than I expected. This movie was kind of redeeming in a way because I enjoyed the how the Predator was just kind of moving around, and I thought that was really cool.
It's like Predator or they them was like our expectations were low, but oh my god, this was like our expectations are low, but oh okay.
Like in the previous movie, all that money went to Kevin and they them. All that money went to Kevin Bacon, but in this movie, they really put all the money in as much effort as they can into everything. Because I think even the cinematography, I thought that was all right. It wasn't the best.
Yeah, the set piece, it was just pretty landscape. So I'll give it that.
Yeah.
It was very cool. I do think some of the CGI was a little iffy, but it's a Hulu release, so I don't really care.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they really put the money in. Like,
they did their best. And I will say, like, my only discrepancy, and I said this like off camera, but it's they're a Comanche tribe. Why don't they just speak it? I think that would make it more interesting. It'd be kind of like I just think, why are they speaking? The language part of the movie was just very confusing, and that's all I really need to say about that. That's my biggest gripe. So
I think to play devil's advocate for this movie, I think that would have put way too much effort in what they can already afford. So I think
I guess
I gave this movie a pass. I had this thought while watching the movie. I thought like, why don't they speak like Native Americans or anything like that? Because they were way too American, modern American.
Yeah, that's what I
mean.
Like
the way they were talking, but in a way, the struggle there is to have, if you're gonna have this one person do it, everyone has to do it. But then if there's one other person who can't do it, then that's gonna be a big issue.
Yeah,
it's gonna be very distracting.
I don't know. I feel like as long as your main actress could, you wouldn't. And maybe her brother, it would be okay. But it doesn't matter. It's like it's not. It's my biggest con against the movie, but it's not like it's not gonna shatter its score or whatever. So.
It did feel like a lot of the Native Americans, like her basically the guy that she doesn't like. A lot of them were they to me they felt like cosplayers. Just because of the way they were speaking and
it's
and
the
acting.
speaking. It's just it. I don't know, and it was 300 years ago, so it's kind of
we don't know how they were speaking.
So
I like that she was introduced to a gun, didn't know how to use it, but then actually they didn't even use the gun. She barely did. I'm impressed that they didn't use that as a kind of scapegoat.
I did like it's bows and arrows and knives and shit. It's cool. It's cool. Kept it true to the 300 years ago.
I mean, Predator shouldn't have that much technology. I think they should have toned him down a little bit more. I mean, I'm sure they toned him down in some way in this movie, but I
mean, they did a good bit.
They should have like toned it a little bit more down, not like with a laser shit, but more like, you know, use something more analog. I mean, I can understand the whole like
the visor,
the visor and the heat and all that stuff. But I think it would have been really cool if it was like on the same level.
That's what I was expecting. Honestly, I was kind of surprised when he had like a laser tracking thing. I thought it was gonna be more like he's gonna have like a bow and arrow too. I thought that would be more cool and make it even. I don't know. That would be like Prey 2, but it would have been cool if they started with like Predator comes down with like bows and arrows, but then he comes back and he's got this. Like you could spread it out. It could be. I don't know. Be cool to have a Predator show where each episode's like a different like generation or something or time period. That'd be pretty cool.
I think this movie is heading in that direction like Transformers, where they're like trying to go back because they didn't know where to go further with the movie. So they're like, how about we just go back and see what people would do?
That's a good way to put it.
Next thing you'll know, there'll be cavemen. Then someone's gonna be like, "Ooga boonga,
But yeah, any final thoughts for this movie. This is one of those movies where we don't really have much to say about the plot. It's just kind of cut and dry. Watch it if you like Predator. I would recommend it.
Yeah, if you're a fan.
Yeah, if you got nothing else to watch, put it on. It's one of the better streaming things.
And I think he has a different costume, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's one of the more accessible, I guess, movies that have come out
Yeah.
on streaming recently. So go.
This is actually fairly decent for a big franchise that's coming out to streaming. Yeah. Normally when you see something like this, there's like some problems with a VFX or something like that, and that's why they're releasing it. Yeah. Like look at HBO stuff sometimes.
God,
or like the DC stuff.
Dude, all of like, HBO Max like originals kind of just fucking suck.
They're pretty good. There's some that are really good. I'm very surprised.
Is it the shows or the movies?
The shows for the most part. Okay, they really put a lot of effort.
Because their movies on HBO Max, man, it just feels like they follow the same script and like it's very But anyways, you gonna get to our ratings?
Yeah, let's get to the ratings.
All right, we do 2 ratings here: critical and entertainment. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. So, what's your your critical rating for Prey?
I would say 5.
5.
The movie was very predictable. It was very cut and dry, like I said. You could figure out like this girl's gonna be something special, and then she's gonna win this somehow. If she had died at the end, I would have been like, fucking great. That's incredible.
I don't know. It does kind of. Predator kind of has to die in the sense of like he's got to evolve or like this, it has to come back. So, but I'm gonna give it a 5 as well. It's just middle of the road. It's good enough. An enjoyable enough watch.
Good enough is a good way to put it. It's the
best way to put it. Yeah. Entertainment value. What do you say?
6. It wasn't boring me to death. It was like I think the slow parts of the movie really took away from it because like you already know Predator. Yeah. Like everybody already does. And they're just mumbling around the forest.
I kind of like the setup of it because it's like, oh, it's a lion. Oh, but I like the kind of payoff for that. So
I think the confusing part, I guess, was like the bear stuff and then the like him hunting other things down. And it was like, why is he doing that? And then they explain it later on. And then you're like, that doesn't make sense from the first part, but whatever.
Yeah. But I will give it a 7. Because this actually made me kind of like Predator. Because the last Predator movie was probably the worst movie I saw whatever year that came out. It was just
2015.
It was when I worked at the movie theater, so it had to have been later than that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say 2018. But that movie, man, I hate. It's so bad it's good. But God, that movie, like they have to get to the chopper line. And it's like they point to a bunch of bikes. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
I didn't even watch that. I already know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's silly. But this one like actually kind of took it seriously, and I feel like Predator was straying away from that because in the 80s, it's like it
was cool. In the 80s. Now it's just like
they kind of followed that trend, but it's like okay, we're in the 2000s now. Movies are a bit different. So, but otherwise, go watch it. Don't go watch it. You're not missing or gaining much. So.
No, this movie was written for the sole purpose of being in streaming, and you can tell that it wasn't written for theatrical release at all. I would be surprised.
I don't know. I see some theater movies that are worse than
that's what I mean, though. But like, it's like they knew what they were going for, and they were like, "Yeah, let's just keep it this way."
But that's our review for Prey. Thank y'all for watching. We've been the Continuity Crew. I'm Will.
I'm Eat, Pray, Love.
That's when. And go check out maybe one of our playlists or something and subscribe. Thank you for watching. We love movies. We love y'all. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.